Hello and welcome to Inside Edition to discuss national, regional and international issues in depth. Announced in 2008 by Bahrain's First Lady, wife of His Majesty the King and chairwoman of the Supreme Council for Women, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, Bahrain Women's Day is a key national occasion that is annually celebrated on the 1st of December to acknowledge women's contribution to the comprehensive progress march in the kingdom. It is an opportunity to highlight Bahraini women's success stories in different sectors and identify their roles in the society. During the previous years, the Supreme Council for Women celebrated women in education, health, volunteer work, economic development, sports, media, military, banking and finance, and this year Bahrain is celebrating women in legislative field and municipal work. Bahrain women's involvement in municipal work goes back to the 1920s when they took part in the first municipal elections. This year's theme is an opportunity to highlight Bahraini women's success stories and identify the available chances to motivate and attract them in order to increase their representation and success. To talk more about that, we are joined by Shura Council Member Ms. Hala Ramzi. Welcome back. Joining me in the studio is Ms. Hala Ramzi, Shura member. Thank you very much for being with us today. Ms. Hala, this year's theme was chosen to celebrate 20 years since Bahraini women entered the appointed Shura Council, which you are a member of now, and 15 years after their access to the election or the elected Representatives Council and municipal councils. What can you tell us about the development of that participation compared to its regional counterparts and reasons behind that this is a continuous success?
First of all, thank you for having me on your esteemed program. And to start with, I would like to really pass my utmost thanks and appreciation to Her Royal Highness Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa for her continuous support to Bahraini women and her belief in the capabilities of Bahraini women and where she deserves to be on the not only locally but international map. And of course, regarding the participation of Bahraini women in legislative and municipality, as you said earlier, municipal works, Bahraini females have started since 1920s. Yeah. So they do have this sort of experience being going to elections, selecting yes. the best candidate as much as they can. And then with His Majesty King Hamad reform project that started in 2002, we had the constitutional amendments, and that gave the right to a Bahraini woman to both elect and be a nominee. So this opened, you know, the options in front of Bahraini women. And as far as legislation, we have, yes. of course, two houses. We have the House of Representatives, we have the House of Shura Council, which is appointed by His Majesty the King. We started with 6. Today we are 9. Numbers are increasing, yeah. and it reflects the belief of the society and the leadership in the capabilities of Bahraini women. Yes. It is important because Bahraini women, having participated in the legislative field and municipal works, of course, are able to show their various qualities, their yes. various efficiencies, you know, and it gives the world a better idea about Bahrain, Kingdom of Bahrain, how the people are. I always say that the status of a female in her society, in her country, reflects how open, how developed the country is. Yes. And I think Bahraini women are well known in the outer world and internationally, yes. With their efficiency, their in various fields, let me say, either medical, as juries, as yes. Lawyers, yeah. I mean, everywhere. Even we have international representatives in the UN,
yes.
in the WHO. So, you know, I don't think that, I think it's a major step, yes, that we are represented in the legislative field.
Yeah.
And thanks to His Majesty the King and Her Royal Highness Princess Sabeeka for their support, continuous support, because it is important.
Yes. Bahrain has put the template for basically involving women and making the decisions that come out of their researches, the decisions that come out of their positions, valid and very sought after. We see this because especially, I believe, because Bahrain is such a close-knit society, everybody knows everyone. Our leaders are always available to the citizens themselves if they want to talk to. The representative, the parliamentary representatives are also always available, very close to the citizens, and the Shura Council members have a very close ear to the ground, as they say, to know what's going on. Do you think that this close-knit society was part of why women flourished in this field?
Of course, because unless people know what women do, their performance, what are they, how are they serving the community, you know. Men, for example, won't be voting for women. Yeah. They need to see what we are doing. Yeah. They need to recognize it, you know, and it's important because always when you have open doors, yeah, there's a dialogue going on. We know what people need. People tell us what they need, and this dialogue is important for us as legislative people to understand, to work in the benefit of the people, and also to translate the international conventions with what suits our society, because not everything that suits a European country would suit Bahrain. Exactly. You know. So it is important to come into harmony, synchronize with our people, and to reach to a better future for our coming generations. Yes. And this is only done by dialogues, continuous dialogues between not only the legislative people but everyone in the country. Yes. Without dialogue, we cannot reach to
consensus.
Not only consensus, but I mean that everyone is happy. You know, everyone is satisfied. Yes. with what is done.
Absolutely. In his speech during the opening of the fourth session of the fourth legislative term, His Majesty the King said, "It is a matter of pride that Bahraini women today exceed the traditional stages of empowerment to reach the higher status they now enjoy, as they represent a high percentage of the country's public and private sector employees." How do you value such valuable pride and trust from the leadership in the role of women?
Of course, we highly value His Majesty's statement regarding Bahraini women, and it is of course a pride for us. And to tell you the truth, we wouldn't have been able to reach to the position where Bahraini women have reached today without His Majesty's wise leadership, as well as his belief in the quality and the capabilities of Bahraini women. Yes. And of course, with the great support of Princess Sabeeka, with the Supreme Council of Women efforts, all this together have created a supporting environment for Bahraini women to show their capabilities, to run towards higher positions, yes, leading positions, either in private sector or public sector. You know, it is important. It's very much important, and it is as His Majesty rightly said, that women have now moved from one stage to the other. Previously, Bahraini women were looking for empowerment. Today, we're not looking for empowerment. We have the tools. Yes. We have to work more. We have to put more effort to achieve more and more and more.
Yes. The recognition of Bahraini Woman is also of international interest. Last month, Her Royal Highness, the wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, the STW, Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, received at the Council's headquarters the judges of Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa Global Award for Women's Empowerment, who are an elite of the diplomatic field, led by the UN Under Secretary General. The judges express aspirations for assessing the result of the award, affirming that the award will be the best tool for promoting successful practices that enhance gender equality.
These are awards on women's empowerment in 4 categories: individual, private sector, public sector, and private sector, public sector, civil society, and individual. And the winner in each category is going to get $100,000. We had more than 1,000 entrants from all over the world. So the jury right now is trying to find a winner in each of the 4 categories. And once we have been able to agree on the preferred winners, we are going to visit in order to see if what we see and what they are really doing is the same, especially sustainability and impact of their initiative. And then March next year will be the awards.
We have some fantastic applications from people working so hard for women's empowerment. People working on everything from microfinance through to fighting human trafficking of girls, through to cash transfers for women who are in poverty. So it's going to be very hard to choose because these are just such incredible efforts of people working to make lives better for women.
Well, the award is still relatively new, but I think it's a good initiative to try to identify experiences around the world, whether it's of government, private sector, civil society, individuals that deserve recognition, and that also will be interesting to be replicated elsewhere.
As you know, United Nations Women has the He for She pledge. What I saw here is that there is the organic she for she. So what we've seen here, or what I saw, is that women really support each other and they play such a significant role in the family and help each other. I guest lectured at the Royal University for Women, which is such an important initiative in this region. So I would say that Bahrain actually serves as an incubator for the region to show how at the government level and the societal level, how do we empower women, and to prove that it's actually possible.
In a recent statement, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, highlighted the political maturity of the Bahraini society, whose members showed confidence in the Bahraini women's ability to perform their role as fully eligible citizens. What can you tell us about such a maturity and reasons that led to it?
Okay, since His Majesty's reform project started in 2002 till today, we have like 16 years. In these 16 years, though it is short, but I think the society has grown up much higher, at a higher pace, if you want, because if you see the number of females who started when we started the elections in 2002, there were like 8 females and only 1 won a seat in the House of Representatives. Today we have 39 females of different backgrounds, and we have 2 that have already won, and I'm pretty sure that we will see much more in the coming council. So unless we really have a mature society that believe and that recognize very well what women are doing in the legislative field, I don't think that we would have reached to this big number, you know, compared to the size of our population here. And it works both ways, really, because when you talk about the society, you need the elector and you need also the female that wants to run for the election. And I believe that on both sides, female do believe that they have an important role. They want to take this part in it, and at the same time the society is more believing in the capabilities of women, and let's go for her, let's give her our vote. I think it is, as Her Highness rightly said, we have moved to a different or a much better situation than before. Society is maturing politically, and with the coming years, I'm sure we will be seeing more and more of the elected females in the council.
The Supreme Council for Women has always been supporting women in different ways, and it wasn't different in the elections of 2018. They provided workshops, they provided seminars, they provided consultations to all of the candidates and whoever wanted them. And they were very vigorous workshops on marketing, workshops on the legislative field itself. How important is such a support from a council such as the Supreme Council for Women?
Of course, it's very important. The Supreme Council of Women is doing a great job and tremendous efforts in training females on all aspects, really, not only on the legislative side. But since we're talking about legislative fields and municipality, I myself attended lots of those brainstorming workshops, training courses, roundtable discussions, and it's very important because not only that you are passing information, you are passing the awareness also. You are giving the people, the candidates, or those who are willing to go through political elections. You're giving them the experience from people who have been there. For example, when I was there, I was telling them what are the things I see in the future candidate, what are the things that people want to see, that maybe I'm not able to do it today, but you as a new generation will be able to do it. It's important to pass this experience, and it's important also to make them understand what sort of work it is. Again, democracy in Bahrain is very young. We don't have the complete knowledge of it that other democracies enjoy. So unless we have these training that thankfully our Supreme Council of Women is really providing it, and the personal consultations also that they have, I think we wouldn't have been able to do that. And we also have the Bahrain Institution for Political Development, and it also does lots of political and legislative workshops. And again, I've attended lots of these courses, and I found it very informative and important to support the legislative candidate in his work in the future.
I mean that all of these also bring into prospect the fact that the candidates, the female candidates this year, they were from all different backgrounds, not just when it came to the cultural backgrounds, but also career and education backgrounds. We had lawyers, we had healthcare workers. What can you tell us about that? They are from all kinds of fields. How important is that to the coloring of the political scene?
It is really very important because in the council, either Shura or House of Representatives, you get different types of bills, laws, and it's important that we have this mix of fields in the council, because it gives you their experience from their actual work, you know, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a businessman or a businesswoman. So it is important, and to me, I think it is one of the major strengths that we always look for when we are looking forward for the council, because it's really you are serving a major or a much bigger portion of the society when you have this mix of experiences. And from the other side, it shows that people are ready now. Bahraini females are ready, no matter what her background is, to enter into the legislative field and the municipal field, because it's a community service that we are looking for.
And many of them know that their career, their education are their tools into the hearts of the citizens, and they will use these tools to listen more. Well, last month, Her Royal Highness, wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, attended the first session of the conference under the theme Women in Decision Making and National Competitiveness. Various experiments around the world in the field of empowering women and raising their participation in public and political life. At the meeting, which was chaired by Ambassador Gara Ledeen Byrne, permanent representative of Ireland and current chairperson of the UN Commission on the Status of Women, the speaker stressed that the Kingdom of Bahrain does not need to take special measures to ensure that Bahraini women are represented in senior positions and decision-making structures because of the political will of His Majesty the King and His Majesty's belief in the need to support women, in addition to programs, plans and initiatives to support Bahraini women by the Supreme Council for Women under the chairmanship of Her Royal Highness the King's wife. The speakers praised Bahrain's progress in the area of supporting women and the great achievements they make, reviewing the experiences of their countries and the political achievements of women.
The 4th International Conference on the Role of Women's Political Participation in Achieving Development, Justice, Practical Experiments and Aspirations. The conference is part of the work program of the Supreme Council for Women to activate the theme of Bahraini Woman Day to celebrate women's contributions both in the municipal and legislative fields.
The purpose, I think, first of all, is to raise awareness of a very important issue, women's participation in society. It is important that we are aware of what women can bring to the table when they are empowered, economically, politically, and socially. So I think that's the primary purpose of this meeting. And then I think that the other objective is to see how to go about empowering women in these various areas.
The conference gathers a wide international participation to review the progress made regarding women's participation in the political field.
Well, this is an extremely important event. I'm here because I'm Ireland's ambassador to the United Nations, but more importantly, I'm the chair on the Commission of the Status of Women at the United Nations. This conference contributes directly to the work that we are doing at the United Nations to look at how we can improve women's participation, of course, in the political and legislative system, but also in terms of empowering women and freeing them up to actively contribute to their own societies.
The conference will also discuss ways of the sustainability of women's participation and its impact on the country's competitiveness and its abilities to achieve high levels of development.
Women are 50% of the global population, so as we say, it's a bit of a no-brainer that women's voices really should be reflected. The representation of women in parliament has been shown to improve peace processes, it improves education, healthcare, particularly women's attention to their own families is translated into better legislative efforts on education. So right across the globe, it makes good business sense for a parliament to have women's voices represented.
In Bahrain, I think women are contributing a lot to the social development of this friendly country. And in fact, I'm Japanese ambassador, and serving in Bahrain, I think there are a couple of things we have to learn. I mean, Japanese people should learn from Bahrain. One of the things is, women are very much, strongly contributing to the society. This is more than what is happening in Japan. For example, even in the case of percentage of women working in the government, so on and so forth, that is more than Japan. So this is one of the things we have to learn from Bahrain.
The Kingdom of Bahrain has taken advancement steps in the field of women's empowerment, developing women's capabilities and further enabling their participation in the society. Reporting for Bahrain International, I am Hamad Yusuf.
Welcome back. Bahrain has tangible strides in incorporating women needs in the development policies through a national agenda. Pro-women legislations and laws that support the stability of women and families. We've seen these, and we've seen how the parliamentary and the Shura councils really work together to make this possible. What can you tell us about this?
Bahrain has prudently worked to framework the women's rights, both constitutionally and legally, in harmony with the international conventions, you know, and that gave us the framework or the legal framework to work and to pass or to bridge the gaps if there's any legislative gaps that we see.
Yes.
One of the important laws that were passed, law number 19 for 2017, which is the family law, unified family law. It's one of the major laws that really affect the life of a female, the Bahraini woman, and her social life, you know. And that law is important because it brings together the Sunni and Jafari jurisprudence together, you know, under one law, which is important. We needed to have this, and I cannot ignore, of course, the Supreme Council of Women efforts really to bring all the heads together to discuss and to reach to agreement on how best the law can take care of the Bahraini woman and her family. Another important law also that we passed was the child law, law number 39 for 2012. Again, this is considered one of the major laws that were passed during the legislative term, as it really takes care of the child, his welfare, his place in the family, and also protecting him from any abuses. And again, child is one of the family, one of the society. So if you take care of the child, you ensure that you have better youth in the future, you have a better generation in the future. So really laws in this sense are taking care of women as well as the society in whole. Of course, the Supreme Council of Women have really done a great job really in requesting, or not requesting, let me say, in putting the framework, you know, and giving us lights on where we should head, how are the things, what are the gaps that need to be taken care of, really. And it is important because, again, when in the council you receive lots of bills, you are busy with studying this, issuing this, doing this. So sometimes you might miss the gaps, but the Supreme Council of Women, with the strategy, the national strategy that they have for empowering women, developing women, really take care of all these pieces, putting them together so the whole picture is clear to us.
Yes, and I think at that point it's also important to re-emphasize that the teamwork that comes behind the two councils together, and then also the team of the Supreme Council of Women, the Ministry of Endowments, all of these together, basically, it's a big supportive stance. But what can you tell us more about the mechanism of deliberation between the House of Representatives and the Shura Council?
Okay, the system works that when a new bill comes in, it goes to the House of Representatives, they review it, they amend it as they see appropriate, and then it comes back, it comes to the Shura Council. Shura Council will also take it to the appropriate committee. It will be discussed within the committee. If there are any amendments, if we agree with the amendments of the House of Representatives, fine. If we feel that there are other amendments to be done, we do that. Of course, this is also done with, I mean, in consultation with the responsible authority
Yes.
or ministry or whoever is concerned with that
Yes.
bill. And then it goes back, if we've made any adjustments to what has been done by the House of Representatives, then it goes back to the House of Representatives to take their consent, you know. If they agree with it, fine, then it goes to the government. If not, they can amend again, and it comes to us for the final review, and then it goes to the government and is issued as a law by His Majesty the King. So this is the mechanism.
Yes.
Some cases, some laws, it takes long time,
yes,
because the law itself is important. The terms are difficult. You need more clarification about it. You need things to be clear, because it's important that when someone reads the law, he understands it. Yes. You know, because it has rights and duties at the same time. So it is important that it is clear to everyone. It's important that it covers everything, and it sometimes needs that both councils come together, both committees meet together to reach to an agreement on some of the unagreed or disagreed terms.
Yes, and this is, as you said, this is where they sit together and make sure that all of the amendments are correct, or there are no loopholes and everything that comes in within. Well, Bahrain's success in narrowing the gender gap by 99% in education, 96% in the health care sector, and it narrowed it by 54% on the economic participation indicator. This reflects the strong will of the kingdom to promote social justice and equal opportunities. How do you value this approach, and how can Bahraini women benefit from it?
Okay, with the amended constitution of 2002, it clearly stated the rights of women, both on political, social, economical, educational, and so it was the chance that for women to grab it. Yeah. Okay, I have the right, I want to put it into real life, and that was when women started entering every field, if you want. Yeah. Education, I think we've always been ahead in education. Yes. For Bahraini females. Other fields, we are there, we are always there. Yeah. The thing is that when you have the right, you are more empowered to take every chance to prove that you deserve it. And the Bahraini woman has the capabilities, owns the qualities. Yeah. That really prove, she can prove that she can, nothing can stop her really from reaching higher levels. We've seen the Bahraini women as judges, doctors, ministers, yeah. ambassadors. And again, if our wise leadership, His Majesty the King, was not confident that women can do it, I don't think that we would have ever been able to reach to where we are today. Yes. The number of judges is increasing, yeah. Number of ambassadors, number of ministers, number of board members in private sectors, true. Businesswomen. So wherever you see, I mean, the different fields, you see women present, and present strongly, really, not that she is just there. No, she is a strong person, and I think she proved to be an important partner in building the developed Bahrain that we are all aiming to.
Yes. Or my next report might emphasize this, because the Women in Decision Making and National Competitiveness Conference also highlighted the importance of empowering women in the political field, in addition to the legislative and municipal fields, which was first supported by the National Action Charter.
I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this. I'm so happy that the Kingdom of Bahrain is the place where this is starting, that this international conference is taking place here, because I think it's very fitting that it's happening here, because as we know, Bahrain is the vanguard for women's rights in this region, and especially in our National Action Charter, it's enshrined within it that women should have a say, they should have a right, we should support their rights, and they should be very heavily involved in political affairs. And it's giving them a space, and I'm very happy that it's happening here.
Look, society's mainly focus should be how to manage risk and develop resilience. And through empowering women, you achieve these two main objectives. And I think Bahrain is doing a great job in that regard. For the last 2 decades, since the launch of the reform initiative by His Majesty, we saw the developments concretely on education, on health, on employment, on contribution into political and social life. And this is a great example in how women contribute when they are entitled, empowered, and mainly educated.
Investing in the future, investing in human resources, goes through investing in women capabilities. So empowerment is a key word. And the issue is how to plan and implement programs focusing on empowering women, both in the economic sector and the public and the political sector. So our programs in the Arab Women Organization are focusing on these two main issues.
That conference by itself was very intense in clarifying the role of women when it comes to any kind of society, not just in Bahrain. From your point of view, what are the challenges that can face women in the legislative field and the municipal work, and what are the ways to overcome these challenges?
Okay. Some would say that we still have social constraints, but I don't really believe in that very much, because I think, as we said, women have come a long way, and the society is more maturing now. It could be, but it's much a smaller scale than it used to be before. But I think it's the awareness. People need to know more about legislative field and the municipal field. What is the difference between a municipal member and a House of Representative member? Because there's a big difference in the service that they offer. And this awareness is really what we need to focus on, because mixing the roles together will not enable any of them to do his job properly. This is one. The other thing I think would be maybe the finances, because having or deciding to run for election is costly.
Yeah.
So unless you have someone to finance this, or unless you have the money to do it, it becomes a very big challenge, really. On the other hand, also, I think the lack of political societies that are willing to support women and putting them in the front line, giving them the power to run for election, I think is one of the major challenges. We need to have the political societies, because it's where the candidates come out from, you know, getting the experience, learning. We need to focus on this. I think if we have these political societies in place, and if they have the willingness to support women, then we will have much more numbers being represented, and we will have the society awareness. We will feel it coming from, you know, everywhere. So by that we can solve the finances, because the political society will be able to finance the candidate, you know, and at the same time it will spread the awareness, you know, which we need. So I think these are the major challenges that are faced by the legislative.
As you said, these challenges are there, and but on a very small scale. But I also feel that current female candidates and current female municipal representatives, they already are putting their foot down, and they're already trying to change the make some kind of awareness by having the strength to go out there to speak up and do these things. Do you agree that it does really come within the council that this awareness is being spread?
Of course, and that's why it is important to have female starting from the municipal work is the start for the House of Representatives, in my opinion, because once you serve the society through the municipal work, they will know how good you are, they will know how efficient you are in dealing with their problems, the society problems, and then it will open the way for, and I think we have an example of this. Ms. Fatima Al-Qatari used to work within the municipal work for a long time, and now she has won a seat in the House of Representatives. And this exactly is what I'm saying, and I feel is important, because when you start from down, you have the people, you are serving your constituency, you know, people know you and know how good you are, and then so they will be your support for the House of Representatives. So as you rightly said, it is a way of spreading awareness, but again, it is important to shed light on what the legislative female are doing, either locally or internationally, you know, so that this is passed to the society on a greater scale, because each member will serve her place only, but you want it on a larger scale. So I think with the information flowing, with the media, putting light, shedding light on what female do, I think this is another way of spreading the awareness.
Public service employees, whether male or female, always tend to have the strength of their experience behind them when it comes to serving the public and from the Representatives Council. How do you value the current procedure and training programs that are being conducted to empower women in the political field, not just from the SCW? You also mentioned other organizations. So what can you tell us? There should be more of them. These are very good. What can you tell us about?
No, of course, there should be more. I mean, we are never satisfied, or we can never say that is enough. We always need more, because you have a growing population, you have the youth coming up, building this in our educational curriculum, you know, having more political societies on ground, having more workshops offered, you know. The problem is people tend to start working on the legislative field, or start in studying, learning about it only when elections come. I believe that it doesn't. Now you should start for the next 4 years. If you are planning to enter the House of Representatives or the municipal work, then you should start now, because it takes time to learn. It takes time to get people to know you. It takes time to understand your job, what is expected from you, and how you can please the elector. So yes, we need more. We need continuous workshops. We need continuous focus on the work. As I said, democracy, our democracy is just in the infant stage, and we need to feed it all the time to make sure that it grows healthy and in the right direction that we want.
All right, Ms. Hala Ramzi, before we come to the end, my last question to you is, we are at the doors of Bahrain Women's Day coming up, and this year's Women's Day is specialized in the women in the legislative field. A few words from you about this and about the importance of celebrating women in the legislative field.
Of course, firstly, I thank Her Royal Highness Princess Sabeeka bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa for choosing this year to be to celebrate the legislative women and municipal work. And the good thing is that it coincides with the electoral season for the 5th legislative term. And it is very important, really, and it is part of the awareness that I was talking about. And I think that people will put them together, you know, having the elections in November, celebrating legislative women in December. Putting them together will give the society more light about the importance of Bahraini women. Although maybe we haven't been long in this field, but again, municipal work for Bahraini women goes back into 1920s, so it is a long way that we have come through, and this will give other females enthusiasm, the ambition, you know, to, okay, let me try this. I want to go into this field.
Yes.
I want to equip myself to be ready for this. It's very important, and I really thank the Supreme Council of Women headed by Her Royal Highness, and I think it is a great step for Bahrain's reform project that His Majesty the King have been working on since he started ruling this country.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today and answering our questions. And that was a Shura Council Member Ms. Hala Ramzi with us. And we would also like to thank you for watching and see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.